Hello, hello, my friends. AmyR here with Prairie Paper and Ink. Welcome back to my face and my card making space. And the Simon Says Stamp March 2024 card kit. It got here again a little bit early for me. Disclaimer: these are sent to me. I work with Simon Says Stamp, and I get the card kits. Don't have to do the unboxings, etc. They're just fun, and I enjoy it. So there's the disclaimers. I will post a link. They started this last month. They've like upgraded and changed this is the subscription, because with their card kits, you can either just get just the kit, you can just purchase outright. It's all good. You can do the monthly subscription, and there's like a bit of a discount, etc. And then the new option that they've done is now with the new subscription, when they contact you, or however it works, again, I'll post a link. I'll post a link to the video in the description box below. You can now add to it, which I thought was pretty cool, because you couldn't before. They would, with their subscription, you're not locked in. They would invoice you, and then you would just choose whether or not you wanted to pay it. So now, like, things have changed. You get more savings, you get perks, etc. So I'll post a link and you guys can check it out. And those that are already subscribed, definitely. And I'm sure you already know, because I think like emails went out. But it started last month, and then it's just going to continue. Clear as mud. Shows how much I know. But yeah, I just thought I wanted to mention that, because I thought that was really a cool option, is being able to add to it. Because yeah, why not add in a few goodies, the coordinating die sets, those sorts of things, if you're going to get the kit. So let's look at what is in here. I'm kind of excited. So let me switch over. So here is the kit. This is the Mix and Match Butterflies kit. Not sure. Okay. Everything on there. We got some candy. Ooh, birthday cake. Fun. Okay. Another bottle of Craft Tacky Glue. I did a review the other day for a tool, and yeah, I love it. Extras. Can't go wrong. So there's that. There's some bling. These are the little Cool Tones Positively Dazzling Gems. Love it. They're sparkling. Those are pretty. They've even got a little paw print on the container. That's really cute. Okay. So you get those. And then we've got get some coordinating wafers. There's a lot. Okay, there's an embossing folder. This is the Dibble tile embossing folder, one of Simon's 3D embossing folders. Love it. Love. So you get the embossing folder, got some ephemera. Oh, I'm really bad about hoarding this stuff. These are the Tim Holtz Idea-ology Transparent Things 2. And oh, these are fun. Yeah. Like, they're transparent, but not really, like just a bit. That's kind of neat. These florals are gorgeous. So you get you get 4 big ones, and they're just large florals. And then all kinds of little elements and things. These are pretty. They're just very pretty. Love it. Love it. Ooh, look at that little bird. Look at the little birds. Aren't those fun? Love them. Get those. And then there's pattern paper. This pattern paper is gorgeous. Who did this pattern paper? This is Crafter's Companion Kingfisher pattern paper. These are gorgeous papers. Like, they're really pretty. You guys know, anyone who's followed me for a while, I hoard pattern paper. These are just, they're just so pretty. So yeah, I'm just love it. I honestly, that's one. Well, I like all the Simon kits, but I really love Like, I get introduced to things because when you see them online, I'm sure I've even seen images of this paper online. It's just like, okay, and move on, doing my little browsing and shopping and things. But when you actually get to see it in person, it's like, oh, wow. Love. Love. I like the like sort of mixed media look too on some of these, like on some of the backs of these. Those are fun. Okay, so there's that. There is, they included one of the, these are the Simon Says Stamp storage envelopes. I have some of these. I need to get some more of them because, yeah, these will fit Simon's stamp sets. So, and especially like if you've got like say a stamp and die set, and a stencil set, you can stick them all in here. And these are like, they're not flimsy. So, because yeah, I need to get more of these because I keep everything in their original packaging generally. But after a while, more often than not, the packaging will start to split because especially in my most used, my favorite sets. And if there's like coordinating dies, and when it happens, that's when I will transfer them into an actual like storage pocket. And these ones I'm really liking because you can also close them up. So you get one of those. So that's fun. And then the main feature is this gorgeous. This is the Mix and Match Butterflies 6x8 stamp set. Isn't this pretty? This is so pretty. I like the size of them. Yeah, I really like the size of them. And yeah, they're mix and match because these, like, that's one stamp, the top part of the wings, and that's a separate stamp. So you can mix and match them because that's one stamp, that's separate, So you can use the different bottoms to make different butterflies. That's really fun. That's fun. I love the sentiments. Got some mix of fonts, got some little flowers. It's really fun. And then this comes with, you get it's called a single mix and match butterflies die set. So this one has, it's the die for this bottom part. And then this will be, and then, yeah, so it's the dies for this butterfly, or these pieces of the butterfly. And then the body. And then a couple of the florals, the leaf, that's a leaf, yeah. And then the little heart shape. And then there is available separately like a full die set for everything else. It's a larger set. So I'll have a link to that like I always do. And then, you get they finally got these back in. If you guys remember, during my Halloween series, I was using the mini action wobblers and they couldn't get them in for the longest time. And then they've been able to get them, and you get a couple in the kit, which is really fun because I love me mini action wobbles because they're little springs and they go flat, and you can stick them on the back of things, adhere it to your card, and then they'll bounce around. So I have used these many times over years. This is my favorite way to make an interactive card because you just stick it on, slap it on, and then it'll bounce around, and that's my level of interactive card making, just simple. So you get a couple of those. And then we've got matte gold cardstock, one of my favorites. Simon's matte gold cardstock, green leaf cardstock, soft navy cardstock, and ivory cardstock. All my faves. Just faves. So that's the kit in a nutshell. And like I said, I will have links to all the things. I'll link to the video explaining the new system they have, and then I'll link to the kit and everything individually. And then keep watching, and I'll show you guys what I decide to make. I'm like, too many ideas. I immediately want to like heat emboss these butterflies and maybe do some watercoloring. I think that would be really fun. Yeah, pattern paper and all these different elements. They're so pretty. Everything is so pretty. I love it. So yeah, just keep watching and I will show you guys what I make. I took the main, I'll call it the main, the butterfly, the one that you get the coordinating dies with in the kit, and some pieces, or just a piece of Canson XL watercolor paper. And I figured out that if I place them kind of just so, that I'd be able to flip this cardstock around and stamp and heat emboss everything twice. So I was like, why not? So I just made sure I had them spaced far enough apart that I'd be able to die cut them and again, flip the cardstock around. So I used my MISTI to get the images lined up, and then I took the watercolor paper out of my MISTI, used my anti-static powder tool all over this because I want to heat emboss these images. And the anti-static powder tool keeps the embossing powder from clinging to anything but the stamped images. And then I'm going to ink these up, and I'm going to stamp them with clear embossing ink. And I'm going to do this more than once because watercolor paper has a little bit of a texture to it. Not a lot, but there is a bit of texture there. So this just ensures that I actually get everything stamped, get all the detail. And that's also why I tilt it in the light to actually see it, because you're stamping clear ink on watercolor paper. It's impossible to see it. At least it is for me. The older I get, I'm just like, fun. Anyway, flip the cardstock around, repeated the process, inked everything up, stamped it a couple times. And then I'm going to coat this with Simon's Detail Gold embossing powder. So I'm going to pour that over, tap off the excess, and then I'm going to melt this with my heat tool. So this is where the anti-static powder came in very handy, because at least for me, if I don't use that, I got, fingerprints, it's always just a randomness. So coated everything with the gold embossing powder, tapped off the excess, melted it with my heat tool till everything was smooth and shiny and fabulous, because melting embossing powder, like I always say, it's one of my favorite things. So I did that. And then for my watercoloring, I'm using a variety of Distress Oxide inks. I pulled out colors inspired by that pattern paper. I really did. I love that pattern paper. And one of them specifically, just the color combo on it, I was like, I would never have thought to put these colors together. So altogether, I ended up using many colors. I've got Kitsch Flamingo, Crackling Campfire, Chipped Sapphire, Salvage Patina, Cracked Pistachio, and Peeled Paint. And I just kind of mushed the sides of the ink pads right onto my glasswork surface. And then I just picked up the colors with my little detail water brush and painted. Very simple. Nothing crazy. Nothing difficult. You just fill in each area. And it's been a while since I've used my oxide inks to watercolor with. I forget last time, because you guys know I go on just different little tangents, whatever it is I'm obsessing about. And yeah, every time I come back to things like this, I'm like, oh yeah, I really love painting with oxide inks. This is especially one of the easiest things, because anybody can do this. You're just filling in the lines. That's it. I'm not doing any special layering or techniques or anything. It's like swirl the brush into the ink, place it onto the watercolor paper, go on to the next section. That's it. So that's what I did. I just chose sort of the colors at random and then filled in all these different parts. It kind of was also fun with an image like this because it's almost like stained glass in a sense, like how every little section is kind of separate. And then with the raised edges of the heat embossing, it just worked. And yeah, I was like, oh, the color combos I can do with these butterflies. So I did them different, even though it was the exact same images that I flipped around and stamped twice. I colored, I put the colors in different spots just for fun, just to mix it up a little bit. So I went around and just kept swirling my brush in the different colors and just kind of choosing them at random. It was like the first one, I did that crackling campfire on the edges, which this combo, I forgot how much I love crackling campfire. It's another reason I that's why I love pattern paper. I get grief from people that, because I never use it. I just like to hoard it. But the biggest thing is, honestly, I get inspired by it. I don't even need to use it. Flip through it and it's like, ooh, those colors, or oh, that combination, or oh, I love how the florals are arranged on this paper. Whatever it is. More often than not, it's color combos. So anyway, painted everything in, let it dry. And then I'm going to use those coordinating wafer dies. I snipped them all apart and ended up having to cut apart the watercolor paper there because the dies, I had the images just slightly too close together. So just cut them apart with scissors. It's all good. And then I'm going to die cut these images with those coordinating wafer dies. And I taped them into place with just little bits of washi tape so that they didn't shift when I ran them through my die cut machine. And then all you got to do is decide how you want to place the upper and lower portions of the wings. You can keep them a little more separate. You can overlap them. I just kind of butted them up against each other and then adhered the body right on top with my craft tacky glue. That's it. Simple. So got both of them assembled with the glue and then just let the glue dry, and then the butterflies are complete. And then chose a couple of the pattern papers from the kit, and I'm only just cutting just little strips. I decided I would do something a little different. Plus I didn't want to use up the papers. So I was kind of had a mental idea of what sort of layout, like what I wanted to do. So I'm going to have panels of smooth white cardstock that I had trimmed down to 3 3/4 by 5 inches. So a fair bit smaller than an A2, what will be my A2 card base. And then trimmed down a couple of the pattern papers into strips and then ripped the bottoms of them. I was going to die cut them or like cut them into, notch them, different things like that. And I was like, wait a minute, I'll just rip them. I like that look. So ripped the bottoms of them, and then decided to use one of the sentiments from the set. That's the happy birthday sentiment, but I didn't want it on one line. And you can technically do masking and a little bit of finicky whatnot to stamp a sentiment different than how it is in a stamp. But with ones like this, I just snip it apart. It's fine, because the next time I go to use it, if I want the happy birthday sentiment to be as it originally was made, like all in one line, I'll just stick it on one line. That's kind of the beauty of photopolymer, is you can just cut it apart and it works. So I did that. And then those panels of white cardstock that I trimmed down, I did the same thing. I used my anti-static powder tool on them. I stamped the sentiment with clear embossing ink and then coated it with that same detail gold embossing powder. Repeated the process on the second card front. Stamped it, poured over the embossing powder, tapped off the excess, and then both of these I'm going to melt with my heat tool. So it just kind of brings in more of the gold, because I use the gold for the butterflies, then I use the gold for the sentiment as well. And then I have one more thing that's going to have a little bit of gold added to it that I pulled from my stash, but I'll get to that in a second. So then my card bases, like I said, are top folding A2 white note cards. And I trimmed down a couple more of the same pattern paper into like slightly narrower strips, just to kind of tie it all together. And I took another sentiment from that same stamp set, and I'm going to ink that up just with the chipped sapphire Distress Oxide ink. And then I'll tear and adhere those little paper strips to the inside of the card as well, so it kind of mimics what's going to happen on the outside. And then for the card fronts, I'm just adhering those paper strips with the craft tacky glue. And then I'll flip over the card front and trim off the bits that are hanging off the top there. But adhered them first because I wasn't sure exactly how I wanted everything to look. So got those into place. And then I'm going to line up this card front onto the card base so I can see where the edges of the actual card will be, because I want to stick these butterflies into place, but I don't want them hanging over the edge of the card base, because I want this to be able to fit into an envelope. So, and before that, this is the third thing with some gold on it. This is some Vivant. Is that how you pronounce it? I think that's how you pronounce it. Vivant cotton cord. Because again, if you guys have been watching my videos, I've been back on the Baker's Twine kick, and then this stuff has come onto the market, and it is very nice. There's like gold threads, spun through it. There's a few different colors, and of course I ordered it. It's been sitting here just waiting, so I was like, ooh, the color is like perfect for these cards. So I wrapped it around, tied it in a bow, and then put the card front onto the card base. It's not adhered, but it's just sitting there, because I want to pop these butterflies on with those little action wobbles, and I don't want them like hanging over the edges of the card, so that this would fit in a standard like A2 envelope. So, because I didn't want to like have to trim. I don't mind trimming my images. I've shown that a ton. Like, flip the card over, I trim it off, it's fine. But with something like this, where it's like the main element, it's interactive, etc., it would look weird if I was to snip like the edges of it. So I just made sure to place it onto those card fronts in such a way, as you can see, that it's not going to hang over the edge of the envelope or the card base, so it will fit into an envelope. So that was the thought process on that. And then I adhered these to the card bases with Simon's Big Mama foam tape to give it a little extra dimension. And then I used those gems that came in the kit, the Cool Tones, Dazzling, Gems. These are glass, by the way. I didn't mention that when I was unboxing the kit. But yeah, that's why they're kind of like extra sparkly. They don't look like much, like looking at them straight on here on camera, but in real life, they're so pretty. Love it. You guys know. My inner magpie is always happy when there's any sparkly, shiny things. So I adhered those into place on both of the cards, and that finished them off. So yeah, they bounce around, and I love action wobbles. They're so fun. So, like I mentioned in the intro, I will have a link below to the card kit. I'll post a link to that video I mentioned that's supposed to explain all the new things with the kits and what you can do and all that stuff. And then I'll have my supply list with links to all the supplies I used, so you can just expand the description box below the video if you're interested in any of that. Thank you all so very much for taking the time to watch my videos, for thumbs upping and commenting. Subscribe if you haven't. I'd love to have you, and I'll see you all very soon in the next video. Bye.